Hi everyone and welcome. Today we're going to continue drawing linear functions, but we are going to have a look at a vertical straight line as well as a horizontal straight line and what they both look like. Now before we do that, I just quickly want to revise what a gradient is. Well, we learned in our analytical geometry that a gradient is the division sum between the vertical distance divided by a horizontal distance. Now, let's just have a look at a quick way to determine this line's gradient by using the counting method. Now, if we want to use the counting method, we need to count from one point on a straight line to another point on the straight line, okay? So what we do is we want to first count the vertical distance because we can never count diagonally. So what we want to do is we want to count from this dot to get in line with the other dot. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 units down, okay? And because we're counting downwards, it's going to have a negative value. So that's why we're going to write -4. And then we want to count so that we end up on this dot. So we're going to go 1, 2 to the right. And because we're counting to the right, it's going to have a positive value. So it's 2 to the right, so it's a positive 2. So the gradient is -4 divided by 2, which is -2. Okay, now what if you want to count from this dot towards that one? Well, we do the same thing. We count our vertical space first. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 units up. And because I'm counting upwards, it's going to have a positive value. So it's going to have a +4. And then from this point, we want to end up back on this dot. So we're going to go 1, 2 units to the left. And because I'm counting to the left, we're going to have a negative value. So it's -2. And 4 divided by -2 is also equal to -2. So we get the same gradient because it's the same straight line. Got it? Now let's use this information to go and have a look at a vertical line as well as a horizontal line. Now in our previous lessons we learned that our linear function is in the form of y equals mx plus c. But not always. Sometimes they can also be in the form of y equals 4, for example. Now, if it is in this form, it's quite easy to draw the line. We just simply go to our y-axis to the value 4, and then we draw a horizontal line. Now, why will it be a horizontal line? Now, let's just quickly have a look. Because we know that the gradient of a line is the vertical space divided by the horizontal space. Now for a horizontal line, there is no vertical space. Like I can count 1, 2 units down, and no matter how I count to the left or right, I cannot end back on this line. So in other words, there is no vertical space. So vertical space is 0. And then I can count any amount of units to the left or right, and I will still end up on the purple line. Now let's have a look. -5 to -2 is 1, 2, 3 units to the right. So if we go 3 units to the right, 0 divided by 3 is a 0. So what we learn now is that a horizontal line has a gradient that is 0. Now think of it in terms of a skateboard. If you're standing on a straight road with your skateboard, you're not going to move backwards or you're not going to move forwards because there is no gradient in the road. So a horizontal line has a gradient of 0. Got it? And to draw it, it looks like this: y equals 4 or y equals 3. If that was the case, for example, y equals 3, we're simply going to draw a horizontal line through 3. There is no x, so we can never touch the x-axis here. Now, what about a vertical line? Well, it is in the form of x equals a certain value. Now, in this example, we have x equals to 4. So we're going to go to the x-axis where there's the 4, and we're going to draw our vertical line in. Now, why will it be a vertical line, and what will the gradient look like? Well, remember, a gradient is my vertical space divided by my horizontal space. So let's count from -4 to -1, which is a place on the line to another place on the line. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 units up. That is a +3. But to end on this line, or we didn't have to go left or right. So there is no horizontal movement to go from one place on the line to another. So the horizontal space is 0. But we're not allowed to divide with 0. So our gradient is undefined. So for a vertical line, we learn that the gradient is undefined, and we draw it where the x is equal to a certain value. So if it was x equal to 3, we're simply going to draw the vertical line so that it goes through 3 on our x-axis. Got it? So this is what a vertical line looks like. And for a horizontal line, this is what it looks like. And we also learned that the gradient of a horizontal line is 0. I hope you could follow, and see you again next time. Bye.